I'm now going to talk about a monthly budget that is over budgeted, meaning instead of living below your means, this person's living above their means. They're not making as much as they're spending every month. So as you can see in this example, they are only bringing in $5,450 a month. That is their total take home income. I'll show you it on another tab, and I'll also show you the expenses of $6,420, which is what they're spending every month to live. So they're actually $970 in the hole every month. They're paying $970 more than they make. So they're going into debt, and this is at a pretty good rate. If you think about it, 970 times 12, that's, 11,000 something dollars. So a year, and plus interest, because they have to pay it somehow. So I'm thinking it's going on a credit card. So anyway, they are 118% allocated on their income versus expenses. So let's look for ways that they can pare this down so they can get this up and this down. So we're going to go over to monthly income, and this is their monthly income. Now, if they would only be living on their $4,000 take home pay from their job, which is right here, they would really be in the hole. This number would be $1,450. Oh, wait, whoa, it would be more than that. If I took out, let's just look. Wait a minute. So we're going to take out, let me put these numbers over here so I don't forget what they are. 750, 450, because you can make one of these spreadsheets and finagle these little numbers any way you want, and then you can see, wow, this really makes a difference. So say they didn't have any other income. So their income is 4,000. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I knew I was off because I wasn't thinking this through. But anyway, it was a quick thought for me. So their monthly income's 4,000. They only have one job. They're spending 6,420. They are $2,420 in the hole every month. So with this scenario, them working these extra side jobs like the 750 for the Uber and the 450 for selling online and the 250 for dog walking, this is really helping that bottom line, but we can get it down to a much better level than this. This can definitely come down. So but it requires lifestyle change. If you're not willing to change your lifestyle or tell your friends, "Hey, I'm not going out tonight," or changing your habits or something, then it's not gonna change. It's gonna stay the same for you, and you do not want to go into debt because of your expenses. So let's look at this. So your rent or your mortgage is 2,400 a month. Now, depending on where you live, maybe you just wanted to move out because you wanted to be away from mom and dad or something like that, or you're living in a very high rent section or area. Maybe you can reduce this. If you did move home with your parents, if you're able to do that, this opportunity would be $2,400. What a big smack right there. But a lot of people don't want to move home with their parents, or they're not able to do that. But if your parents live near where you work and you just wanted some freedom, move back with them. If they allow you to move back with them, yes, you have to live under their rules. You might have to put the trash out, help make dinner, clean up after yourself, clean the house. Maybe they'll even ask you for a small rent per month, like $500. Who cares? Move back in with them. They're your parents. They want what's best for you. So I would definitely do something like that. But this is a big opportunity, even down the road, if you are living away from home or whatever, and you can probably reduce that to like a studio apartment. We'll just put an X here. That is an opportunity to down the road that we can possibly reduce that expense. Okay, so electric. So it looks like this person only has electric for their heating, like their food, their maybe their heat is electric, but I'm not sure what month this was in. But if it's $125 times 12 months, maybe they're on like a budget plan or something like that. If you don't use your dryer, you will save a couple bucks. Maybe here and there, like over the month, like 4 times you don't use your dryer, you hang up your real nice clothes instead of putting them in the dryer. The dryer does deplete the length of your clothing. It takes threads out of your clothing, and it's not very good for your clothing to use a dryer. Maybe you want to put your clothes in there, hang them up to dry, and then the last 20 minutes throw them in the dryer to get the dampness out of them and hopefully some wrinkles out of them. But cost savings there. I know cable boxes and other things that are plugged in when you're not at home, they suck electric. So when I leave my house for an extended period of time, I unplug everything. And it's just I do it because I don't want it plugged in. There's no reason for it to be plugged in. And I don't have a very big house, but I unplug everything. So even if like my surge protector doesn't work and a storm comes through, it doesn't knock out my TV. Then I'm going to have to go buy a new TV. Unplug it. And then you're not drawing electric on it. The cable boxes I unplug, I know they draw electric. And if I'm not there, what do I need the thing plugged in for? So that's a cost savings. So I'm just going to leave this at 125. Um, and gas, if someone has gas, I have that in this example so people don't forget that they might have gas for their heating or their cooking, just so they can include that. Now, cell phone. I know there's a lot of plans out there that are offering like $55 plans for one line, unlimited data, talk, and text. So I think this is an opportunity. I think this can be reduced. We'll just say $55. So that's a $40 savings right there. So I definitely think that $95 for one phone for 1 month it's a high price right now. I see it all the time. Mint Mobile, Pure Talk, even Xfinity, they have plans that you can get on for unlimited talk and text, one line for less than $95. So I'm just going to put a cost savings of 40 there. Internet that looks like a reasonable cost. We're not streaming. I guess she's including that down here with her subscriptions. But so internet looks like a good price. Groceries. This can be reduced. If you reduce this cost, you need to, number one, when you go to the store, eat before you go to the store. Number two, only buy what's on sale when you go to the store. Only shop around the outside of the store. The produce, the meat, dairy, if you eat dairy. I don't eat much dairy. I don't drink milk or anything like that, but I do sometimes get almond milk. But um, shop around the perimeter of the store because you don't want to go in the inside of the store. That's where all your packaged foods are. Your costs are going to add up. I eat very well for $200 a month. So this cost would be about $200 for me, but I'm going to reduce this cost. I'll say it'll 225 for this person. So that's a reduction of $125 at the grocery store. You're not eating what you want. You're not impulse buying. You're not buying cookies, cakes, pies, candies, or impulse buying a sirloin steak for $25 or something like that. You're going in buying what's on sale. These are lifestyle changes that you would implement into your budget so you can save money and have a better future for yourself. So eating out, and I do even think that this number of $850 for one person is rather low, but I don't know. I don't eat out a lot. I eat at Chick-fil-A once a week, once every other week, and it costs me $6, $7 every time I eat there because I only get a number one sandwich. I don't get waffle fries and I don't get a drink or anything else. So it's like, I don't know, $6. But I'm not like the norm, so people like to eat out. So I'm just going to say we're going to reduce this from $850. I just can't. That's a lot of money. If you take 850 times 12, I'll just look at it. I want to make sure I give you the right number. So 850 times 12 is $10,200 a year in eating out at $850 a month. That's insane. But sorry, that's just my opinion. I shouldn't be saying that, but it's just people need to really realize what they're spending. A lot of people are disconnected from their spending and they're not really understanding how much these things are costing them. So honestly, if you want to take the 10,000 and you eat out for 10 years, $850 a month times 10 years, this would be I just want to make sure I give you the right number. $102,000. Okay, so you can see where I'm going with this. So let's say we're going to eat out once a week. We're going to go slow here. You don't have to do all these changes at once, but if you're in the hole over here, if you are, oops, if you are in the hole over here and your income is less than your expenses, you need to get this down as soon as possible because you're living on credit cards or something. You know, that extra money that you're spending over your income is coming out of something. And you really need to look at that so for your future self, okay? So I'm just going to say $50 times 4. Once a week you're eating out, $50, which is crazy. I can't imagine spending $50 when I eat out, but I'm a different person. I've been living like this for a long time, so I'm not the norm. So we're just going to say this is going to be $200. So right here, we're going to save $650. That's a big chunk, okay? Beverages. Now, this is like coffee, eating out coffee, a snack or something, but this is based really on coffee. $5 a day times 30 days plus an extra $20. So if you didn't do this at all and you totally nixed your coffee habit eating out, number one, you're going to save time. You're not sitting in the line anymore. I've seen the lines for some of these coffee places, and the one my mouth dropped open. It had like 25 cars in it, and it went all the way through the parking lot. And I thought, hey, I would never sit in that line. And it's got to be at least a half hour, 45 minutes to get a coffee. Never. I would never do it. But unfortunately, some people have gotten that coffee to be their norm. Like they can't drink a coffee. They say they can't. I've heard this from so many people. That's why I'm saying it. They can't drink a coffee at home because they have to have their, just say Starbucks or whatever it is. They have to have this particular drink and they made that their norm. So that's normal now. It's not a treat anymore. It's their normal. They think they have to have it. Well, to break that, it's an addiction in my sense, in my eyes. So what we need to do is we need to go back, get some coffee, bring it home, start brewing it at home, and cutting this out. So I would say to cold turkey this because if you go on Monday, you're going to want it on Tuesday. But really, if you just chop it out, this is just what I'm thinking. Now, maybe you'll decide that you don't want to chop this whole thing out. You want, maybe on a Friday, you want, okay, we'll do that. On a Friday, you want a treat. You're going to get a coffee out on Friday only. So I'm going to say it's $5. I don't know how much these things cost. They might be more than that. Some of these drinks I've seen are $7, but I'm just going to use $5. So I'm going to put $20 here, okay? Every Friday, you're going to go out. You're going to get your drink. That's your treat, but hopefully down the road you're going to eliminate it because you see how much it is killing your budget. So this is $150. We've got $150 there. That is great. Now, the next one is auto expenses like gas, things like that. This would be a good number for me because I drive a lot. That would be gas. I don't wash my car at any kind of washing stations or anything like that. I did go over to this really cool looking auto wash place because I went by. They turned a Toys R Us into a auto spa, and it was so cool. And I had to stop and see it. And I thought, hey, yeah, let's go through this. $18 for a basic wash. I'm not doing that. I can wash my car at home probably for under $1. I don't even know how much, but I know that with the water, my hose, and just some soap, it would be probably under $1. Okay. But anyway, so I'm going to keep this at 160. Hopefully you don't go to the auto wash. You can even go to one of those spray off places that you spray your car yourself. Would be a lot cheaper than going through the automatic car wash. But anyway, so auto loan. I'm going to estimate this to be $500 for a car. That is the norm across the board with people that I've been talking to. That almost all of them had a auto loan, and I'm going to average it out to $500, which if you can get that paid off, that would be great. So let's go auto insurance. Now this is $180. Now if you're younger, this might be a higher number. If you're, middle age, this might be a lower number, but depending on how much your auto is, like if you have a car like me that's 20, 22 years old, my auto insurance is $95 a month. I have the highest liability I can have, and I have no collision. So if my car gets hit or something and I have to go out and buy a new car, I'm going to have to pull that out of my savings or something else to get another used automobile. I will not buy new, it will be used. So I have very high liability. So this number, I'm not sure, might change with people. I'm just going to leave it there for this scenario because, like I said, this can vary. I would, like I said, suggest high liability in case there is an accident. You really want to have that assurance. Now, student loans. So this scenario is 250. Hopefully, if you can get rid of that, could you imagine not having to pay that every month? Wow. Okay, credit cards, this scenario is $300. These are minimum payments per month. They're not extra payments. This is what the student loan requires every month, $250. The credit cards in this scenario require $300 minimum payment. Okay? So we're going to leave that go because those have to be paid at those costs. Now, personal care. Let's go and look at this. This person got their hair done and their nails done every month. And this is the approximate cost of it. They got their hair cut or styled, colored. This is very high. So I know a lot of people like to get their nails done, get their hair done. But if you can reduce this maybe to maybe half of that, we'll just say 150 a month. So that was at 275. I'm going to put 125 over here. So maybe you can get your hair colored every other month, something like that. But this is really a big cost. Okay, so let's go to entertainment. So entertainment, $255. First of all, before we look at this, let's go over and see how we're doing on our summary sheet with the adjustments that we made so far. Now, with this scenario, I'm not putting anything towards my savings or retirement with this scenario. This person did not have any savings or retirement allocation out of their income. So let's look and see where we are. So we're looking better. Look at this. We actually are in the good, $120. We have 5,450 as our expense as our income, excuse me, and our expenses are 5,330. So this is lower than that. We're living below our means, but I know we can do better than this because we only have $120 left over right now. Let's go back here. So in order to get our debt paid off and or our savings ramped up or our retirement or both, paying off debt, ramping up savings or retirement, we need to get these costs down, okay? They need to come down. So entertainment, this could be movies, going to concerts, doing all these things. Yes, they're great. But, you know, if you can rent movies, I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but rent movies from the library, rent movies online. Um, that's what this streaming is down here. This person had a streaming service. That is really high. Between the two of these, this is almost $500. So maybe we can cut this down to, we'll just say $55, okay? So we've got an extra $200. We're not going to all the concerts right now because what we want to do, we want to get our expenses down. We're not going out a lot to movies and things like that. We're renting, things from the library, or we're not buying books, things like that. Everything's coming from the library. Everything you rent from the library is free. All you do, you go, you get it there. You have 3 weeks to read it. Sometimes you can renew it online if nobody's lined up behind you and has a hold on that book or movie. You can renew it for extra time, but it also gives you time. Like say you rented a book there, it gives you 3 weeks to read that book. So you're like, wow, I have 3 weeks to read this. This is a challenge. Let's see if I can read this book in 3 weeks and return it on time. Now, you don't want things to be late either. And if you're going to be late, go on and renew them online so you have extra time to get that book back. Now, if there is somebody that has a hold on it, get it back to the library before that date is up because you really don't want to nickel and dime yourself with renewals from the library. Okay, so subscriptions. Say you want to cut this down or cut it out. Say you have 3 subscription services. I don't have any idea how much this stuff costs, but say you want to just take it down to one, or you don't want to be doing this as much. You want to go out, take walks, you want to get out and do things that are no cost outside. So we're going to reduce this cost. We'll take out 2 of the streaming services. So we're going to say this is going to be $75. So this savings would be $150. So we're going to look at the gym membership next. The person that had this had a high-end gym membership that they used all the time. They went to the gym 6 days a week. But if you can reduce this to one of these lower gym services where, like I don't know what Planet Fitness is. I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't have a gym membership, so I don't know how much these things cost. But reduce this down to like $40. That would be a really great savings of $40 a month. Now that's $40 times 12. So that's a really good cost savings right there, just on that one line. Okay, miscellaneous gifts, just going out, spending something. Maybe you're buying a gift for somebody, or just miscellaneous spending. You're getting a candy bar or doing something like that. I really think this can be reduced. Maybe you need to get a gift a month, $25. I think that that's a nice gift amount for someone. And be like ingenuitive with your ideas for gifts. Come up with something that you can make yourself for that person. If they really like to take baths, you get them a bunch of different bath products, put it in a basket with ribbon. You can really come up with some really cool ideas to personalize that gift and make it special for that person. So let's look at this last line item. We do not have anything going towards savings and retirement, which in my head is a problem. Okay? So we did cut out a lot of stuff. Look at all these things that we cut out. Look at these things. We cut out $1,605 out of this budget, which is absolutely fantastic. So let's go over to the summary. Okay, we're at the summary now, and we really are looking a lot better than we were. So we have $5,450 as income, $4,815 as expenses. So now we have $635 to play with that we can add either to a credit card payment, a student loan, a car payment, or savings. Now, I would like to say something about savings. I recommend 3 to 6 months of expenses in your savings. This number would be a lot more than that. It's going to be, let's see, monthly expenses are $4,815. So I'm going to have to change this to $4,815. So now 4 months of, well, we should really say 3, I guess. This is a big number. So 3 months of expenses at 4,000, what was it, 815, total $14,445. Now, this is for you to save in there in case you have an emergency. You have a flat tire, you lose your job, some detrimental thing happens. You own your own home and your refrigerator goes out. Things like that. You have a hole in your roof, something like that. That's what this is for. So you always want to keep 3 to 6 months of expenses in an account and never touch it. It's sitting there for emergencies. So, be saying that, just say you have this already, okay? Say you have this already. What I would do with this $635 is I would, first of all, pay off these credit cards as soon as possible. So, how much do you have extra? $635. So first of all, I go down here and I'd say I'm going to save $300 a month until I get to my goal in my savings account or retirement. So I would save this 300 until you get this ramped up. Keep saving it, saving it. You'll be amazed how fast it accumulates. Now it's going to take you a while to get to this number, but once you get these other things paid off up here, you're really going to see a change. So, because you're going to have more money. Okay, so say you don't have, down the road, you don't have credit cards, student loans, or an auto loan. You're going to have $500, $800, $1,050 extra. Now this is going to go down because this is going to go down as your balances go down, but really if that's a minimum payment, that's going to stay like that for quite a while. So you really want to sock extra money at that. So I'm going to say we are going to put an extra $315 in this category. So, and this is going to be an extra 300 right here, okay? So this should be allocated. Oh, I'm still off $20. Sorry about that. I'm going to put my $20 in here. So $320 a month you're saving. You put an extra 300 here. You're going to sock this off, get this paid off. So when this is paid off, this is going to be a zero. So then you can put that extra $300 that was your minimum payment on one of these other debts, and get them paid off. Okay, so let's go back over here. So now we are out totally allocated. Our income equals our expenses. That's what you want. Now you are living below your means because you did put an extra $315 here and you did save $320. So you are living below your means, okay? But this this spreadsheet is just showing you that everything's allocated, your income to your expenses, all the money you made this month is allocated to either savings, paying off debt, a bill, or something else. So that's what I wanted to show you in this scenario. I hope this makes sense for you and I hope you can get something out of it. Subscribe and like, and please check out my other videos. I'll be posting more shortly, and thanks so much. Bye bye.